make it in the Emirates. It's the place that everyone is gathering, not only in the industrial sector, it's in the space sector as well. I'm happy to have with me Stan Rudnicko, the CEO of Aspire Space. Welcome with us, Stan. And let me start with you. How did you find the MIITE make it in the Emirate this year?
I think first of all, thanks a lot for having me. I think that's a great event, and we have so many representatives of all the national industries here. Mm-hmm. And our particular section, the space and defense, is really nice.
Mm-hmm. And that's in space and defense. Let's talk about the space part. Which is the most common thing that everyone is thinking, that it's being the space. What is the space? But let's say the sovereign launch of sovereign launch capability for a country is so important. What is the necessity for it for the UAE to have its own space launching capability?
Oh, this is an amazing question. I would say that so the economy of the next decades will be substantially dependent on orbital assets. And to have those assets, you essentially should have the capability to deploy payloads into orbit. Mm-hmm. So what you will be interested in is the capability to deploy substantial mass and at competitive cost. So if you don't have the sovereign launch capability, you can only buy this from the third parties, and probably the cost will not be great. But the worst thing is that you probably won't be able to buy enough of capacity, which is the main limiting factor in the market right now. So there are just not enough rockets to deploy everything we want to deploy into space.
And I heard about it when I was reading about Aspire Space, the reusable launch vehicles. How important this to be in the UAE?
I imagine that not only for the UAE but for the whole world, the reusability completely changes basically the orbital economics, how we can go to space and how can we deploy the payloads. So first, with reusability, we can do it way cheaper, which rockets such as Falcon 9 have proved already. But another dimension, which is probably even more important than just cost, is that you can launch much more. Because when you don't throw away every single rocket, which is a very complex machine, but when you actually reuse this rocket, it's a very different matter, because you don't need to build a new one every time. You reuse it, so you do it much more efficiently, so you can launch so much more.
Being in the UAE with this technology, with this vision, and with this very advanced industry sector, how do you see the UAE is helping this industry to grow and to be leading the world in this?
I think that the UAE has really strong space ambitions. You can name programs such as Mars 2017, which is one of the most ambitious program globally, I would say, and the authorities in the UAE are actually fostering the space ecosystem, enabling all the players to meaningfully contribute in what is being built here, both for domestic market, but I would say that for the whole world as well.
For the whole world. So let me ask you, how critical it is for the space infrastructure, how critical and important for sectors and systems that they use it every day. Does it impact on this, or does it have an importance for these sectors like financial, communication, even security?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is very hard to imagine any industry which is not affected by space assets right now. So it's pretty much everything from ATMs to cargo ships actually use data provided by satellites. But as I said, in the future, you will have more and more of those. So if you are going to have, say, autonomous cars, and you inevitably need to have space communications, which provide connectivity for those cars.
And having this as an infrastructure is very important.
Absolutely, this will be the most critical infrastructure in the world, I would argue. So now everybody is talking about the data centers, and here on Earth we hit the limits first of all in power, right? And so now we have a huge push in both in Silicon Valley and in China to actually move the data centers to orbit, where you have unlimited power with the sun. You can also harness this power for space-based solar power. So you actually deploy the power stations into orbit, and you stream the power back to Earth, which kind of looks like a more efficient way to actually build new power stations, and on and on and on. We can, depending on the scale you take, whether it's 5 years or 10 years or say 25 years, the importance of orbital assets, it only grows, and their influence on the economy here on Earth, it becomes just immense.
And being here in the UAE, Aspire Space, how do you see it being connected to the world, and how does the world see you being based in the UAE?
Oh, that is an amazing question. I would say that the very unique position of the UAE is that it actually grants you an access to pretty much the whole world, right? So it is located in the very center between Asia, Europe, America, Africa, everything, and it's inherently very global. So yeah,
that's a very essential.
It's absolutely empowers you to think globally, to work globally, to work with global partners from different continents. So yeah.
How Aspire Space see the future for itself inside the UAE? What's your plans for the future?
I mean, we have a pretty detailed roadmap in terms of technology. So we have just built our first rocket engine, which we display here at our stand. We're going to test fire it later this year. So we are also going to test our guidance, navigation, and control system this year. We're going to have the first hopper test in 2028 and orbital test later. So we have super ambitious plans.
The future is still there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thank you, Stan Rودينكو, CEO of Aspire Space. It was really a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being with us on Mashhad. Thank you.
Thank you very much.